Hi there, it's Simon Gray from Career Codex, and as you can see, it's a wet, rainy-ish UK evening, but quite a nice ambient glow in the office this evening. So it's quite a pleasant place to be. And I've just finished up the blog post for this week, the podcast. I wanted to get a quick video out to discuss the topics that I've covered. And these are important topics, and any of you watching who have ever written a CV or resume or put a LinkedIn profile together will probably want to take note to what we're covering on today's video, which was really sparked by a conversation I saw happen on LinkedIn. And there was a conversation, I think it was in one of the groups, and somebody over in the States had put this post out that said, "Don't write your LinkedIn summary in the third person." And there was loads of comments. People were disagreeing, agreeing, and I read these comments and I thought, wow, this is a really interesting topic. I'm going to put my two penneth in, I'm going to communicate my opinion and see what comes back, which is what I did, and was the topic, of course, for what I'm discussing today on this video. And before I talk about the specific strategies for communicating on your CV or resume or on your LinkedIn profile, it's always important to remember you've got to communicate with the reader in mind. So you've got to know who your target audience is, and then you have to communicate a message that resonates with them. You know, you can talk about first person, third person, whether a summary is, this, that, and the other, but really it's all about, does the reader get it? Do they understand it? Does it get them to do something? Does it get them to connect back to you? Does it get them to pick up the phone to you? That's what it's really all about. But of course, many people come into the job market, the executive job market, and they're not quite clear where they're headed, and as a result they're not quite clear who their target audience should be. So this is part of the planning work I do with my Executive Edge clients. Anyway, let's get back to business. And the discussions that happened under this post really morphed into two directions, and they really raised two important questions, which I'll cover off today. And the first question was really, should your CV or resume and LinkedIn summary be written in the first or third person? Okay, should it be written in the first or third person? Now, if you watched any of my stuff before, you'll know that I spent 10 years in the recruitment industry. And really in the recruitment industry, there is a convention, certainly in the recruitment business that I work for, and also other recruitment businesses that I had dealings with. And that was very much that you put your CV or resume in the third person. So you write it in the third person, which essentially means responsible for rather than I was responsible for. And I used to see some CVs in the first person, and it got really irritating to see I was. In actual fact, all they needed to communicate was responsible for. So the third person got the message across clearly and concisely, and was actually the convention. When it comes to the LinkedIn summary, then it's a slightly different scenario, because of course LinkedIn is a bit more personal. Now, why is it more personal? Well, it's more personal because there's a photo on there. There is, there's a professional headline. There's an opportunity to communicate in multimedia, so you can put videos, posts up on there that you've written, status updates. So you do communicate some of your personality. When it comes to the body of your LinkedIn profile, very much I think it needs to be third person in tune with your CV or resume. But when it comes to the summary, well, the summary is the bit where you kind of convey your passion, your personal style, what makes you tick, and signpost people to the remainder of your LinkedIn profile. And for me, the summary is where you can be a bit more personal, and the first person is absolutely what you should be using to communicate. Now, some of you watching may say, well, Simon, your advice is always to stand out in the job market. Well, absolutely it is. So you might be thinking, well, if everyone else is doing the third person, well, shouldn't you do the first person? And it's a really, really good question. And what I'd say to you is this, that there is standing out and the standing out. If you stand out just for standing out's sake, then there's absolutely no point. And just by breaking with convention to write in the first person instead of the third person, that's really standing out for standing out's sake. And there will be conventions in your industry sector. If it's third person, then, why stand out for that? It's important to blend in just enough and blend in for the right reasons, but then stand out with the quality of your message. So the clarity of your message, the power behind your message, make it memorable, make it easy to understand. I've talked about this before in a previous video called the Tell Me More test. That's where you stand out in the power of your message. And you stand out further by who you put your message in front of and how you do it. So that's how you stand out. You don't necessarily stand out by breaking convention to go first person instead of third person. Anyway, so the second question that really resonated from this post: should you include a personal statement or summary on your CV, resume, and LinkedIn profile? Well, I've already answered the question really with regard to LinkedIn. Essentially, LinkedIn, if you read any of their blog posts, their advice, I read a 58-page document a few weeks back, which was all about how you put your LinkedIn profile together and make it visible. And the advice very much from LinkedIn themselves was, if there's an option to complete something, then you should complete it, because the more complete profiles get served up in the search results more often than not. So because there is a summary there, my advice and LinkedIn's advice, if you read between the lines, is make sure you fill your summary in. And as I've said already, you should really think about making that more of a first-person communication play, and the remainder of your LinkedIn profile, of course, can follow convention with third person. So let's talk about one of the hot topics, and one of the topics that people often disagree with me on, about personal statements or summary statements at the top of a CV or resume. Now, these are the bits that say, I'm a great leader, I've got a proven track record, I'm reliable, I'm conscientious, all of this other stuff. And for me, my advice is just lose it, get rid of it. It's got no power, it's got no backing, it's got no substance behind it. And essentially, for me, it's a bland series of statements without any backing. So as a result, it simply distracts from the real meat of the subject, which I'd want to get to, which is in the body of the CV. And my advice is always, rather than tell people how good you are, what a great leader you are, how reliable you are, it's far better to demonstrate that with really powerful achievements. And if you've watched any of my CV webinars, read the books, you'll know that powerful achievements are what really supercharge your CV or resume. It's not the personal statement at the top. It's a load of fluff. There's no substance behind it. And it distracts, and people have got a short attention span. So if they have to wade through a huge personal statement to get to, where you worked, who you worked for, what sector it was in, and more importantly, what value you added through your achievements, then it's simply a distraction. So my advice is always to lose it. But of course, as I've explained on LinkedIn, then it's very important to have that summary, because LinkedIn gives you the option, and LinkedIn says you should complete it if you want to appear in the search results. So quite a controversial topic. I don't mind doing controversy. In life, you've got to have an opinion. Other people will offer different advice, but with 10 years in the recruitment game, and now 2.5 years coaching and advising executive clients with a proven track record, this is the stuff that works. Real life. So I'd love to hear your comments. If you've got any comments, please post in the comments box. Let me know what you think. If you've got any questions, let me know what you think. You can reach me at careercodex.com. I'm pretty accessible, and I'll be sure to come back to you. If you would like to have a look at an example of a LinkedIn summary that's written in the first person, have a look at my profile. It's Simon Gray ACA, so Gray ACA. If you want to connect to me on LinkedIn, I'll gladly accept your connection request, and drop me a message after I've connected back to say what prompted you to connect, what you've seen, what you've watched, what you thought, and give me some feedback, because it's always very welcome. So I'm gonna get off there. I'm gonna head off. Important to balance your life. I'm off to the gym tonight, so I'm gonna head off, do some exercise, and I'll be back again next week. So in the meantime, take care, and I'll talk to you soon.